So, my name is Ricky Sherb, and good morning, Barrett. So,
Morning.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, but first, may I ask you what your occupation is?
Sure. I'm a United States Navy submarine officer.
Okay. Thank you. So, whenever you're ready, if you'd like to start.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Are you into any astronomy at all?
Yes. Yeah. I majored in astrophysics in college, and I definitely like to keep up to date with the latest news, with not only astronomy but specifically like space exploration. Really
Yeah.
interested in that, and I've done some work, some astronomy research outside of college as well. Published a paper in Nature. Um, so I like to keep up with both the research side of things and kind of just like current events news as well.
So, what are some of your interests in astrophysics and in astronomy?
Okay, yeah, I really like researching specifically like stellar evolution, how a star changes over its lifetime, as a function of its mass, things like that. How a star dies, so the different modes of solar death, like supernova, are going into like red giant things, for example, with what's going to happen to our sun eventually. Um, I also like kind of different from astrophysics a little bit, but like I said before, like space exploration. I think it's a really exciting time right now. With we have a bunch of different third-party companies that are looking to bring humans into space. Like for example, the company SpaceX, which is based in California, and they're kind of taking over in a way from NASA in terms of expanding humans' influence, I guess, to areas outside of Earth. So it's a really exciting time, I'd say, just for that respect alone. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have you discovered any new extraterrestrial-like objects? I mean, if you've observed the skies at night.
Yeah, so there are some. I mean, there's always amazing things that you can see by looking up at the sky at any given time. I would say during my research, we observed a pretty interesting object towards the center of the galaxy.
Yeah.
I can see if I can find a picture of it for you afterwards. But basically, there was a huge bow shock from a star that was moving so fast through a cloud of gas that it was leaving a bow shock through the gas itself, much like you'd see from, say, a boat in the water. How if it's going really fast, you see the wake from it going out like a cone. So we saw that with the star that was moving that fast in a very dense cloud of gas. So it was moving so fast that it was causing that gas to glow from the ionization. So that seems kind of otherworldly in that sense. So I unfortunately have not seen any UFOs or anything like that in the night sky, but definitely some very interesting and more uncommon sights that you can see just by looking up at the sky at night. So it's always good to keep your eyes out.
Good view, yeah. So what is your favorite privilege or activity to do while you're, I guess, on business trips or any trips?
I would say, okay, yeah, I would say just a favorite activity in general. I like to run, for example.
Yeah.
So running is something I do a lot, but like astronomy related, always just looking up at the sky. Even with just a pair of binoculars, you can see an amazing amount of stuff. For example, you can see the Andromeda Galaxy pretty well with just a simple pair of binoculars. It's a kind of people don't really think to use them to look up at the sky. Some people think that you need a telescope to really see anything, but that's not really true. So depending on where you are, hopefully away from a city with a lot of lights, because then it makes it hard to see the sky.
Yeah.
But even just in a small town or something, you can just look up or get a pair of binoculars and see an amazing amount of stuff. So I like to look up and see if I can see any, like satellites going overhead, and just really look up, see if I can find, like, the Milky Way, if it's dark enough outside, and just kind of get my bearings in the sky. So
Yeah.
it's always nice to look up and see like a familiar sight. So yeah, I would say that's another favorite thing that I have to do when I'm traveling, especially, to have that sense of familiarity. So yeah.
So, sorry. Do your math skills when you were in a previous age, younger, I'd say, do your math skills help you solve difficult situations and problems?
Yes, I would say math is one of the most important, just math skills in general are one of the most important things to have throughout life in general, because you'll use it in almost every discipline that you go on to study later on in college, anything like that. Always use math. And if you have a very good fundamental understanding of mathematical concepts behind something, it makes more difficult concepts a lot easier to grasp. For example, in physics, if you have a really good math background, you'll find that you're able to progress and focus on more the conceptual side of things, as opposed to getting into the weeds with trying to figure out difficult problems. So I would say that math is probably one of the most important things, one of the most important skills that I have, and it's definitely something that if you develop it from a young age and you keep working at it, it'll serve you dividends throughout your entire life. So I would say, yeah, math is probably one of the most, if not the most, fundamental skills that a person should have and work at to better.
So, what was your average grade in your advanced math classes, such as Algebra 2, Trigonometry, and Calculus?
Okay, yeah, in high school, I took all those classes, through my sophomore, senior year. I studied a lot for those, so I ended up doing pretty well at getting A's. I would say that going into college, however, it's a big jump, so it takes a lot more self-study and self-motivation, so it's a little more difficult when you get to college and get into some of the more advanced classes, like going into linear algebra. But again, it's just a function of how much time you put into practicing it. It's a skill like any other skill. It's how much time you put into becoming better at it, right? So it may seem hard at first, but if you put in a lot of work, you'll find that it pays off. So no matter how difficult it seems, just work at it, and you'll do fine. So that's pretty much how I did high school. Worked a lot, got good grades. College, found out I had to work more to maintain the same grades. But that's just a function of the difficulty of the material rising as you go deeper into it. So yeah.
Thank you. What is your current occupation? I'm sorry. Have you published any novels or books at all? And if you have, could you explain what the story or information gives to the reader?
Okay, I've not published any novels. The publication that I do have, though, is a research paper in Nature. I can go ahead. Nature is just a scientific journal for all disciplines. It's published weekly, and they take submissions for research papers, and they pick the ones that they want and publish them in this. It's basically like a magazine sort of format, and it's also published online. So let me see if I can find that link for you, because that's the publication that I have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. About 2 seconds. Pull it up. Yeah, there we go. I will link it to you right over here on
Thank
the
you.
chat window of Skype. Yep. It's a little more technical, but it's got some interesting things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could explain it to you in a bit more clear terms later too. Yeah.
Thank you.